ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Airsoftfatty, aka Chris, and I got another story time video for you guys today. You guys really enjoyed our last one, and I do try to stay out of drama these days as much as I can, but to be honest, I like being able to speak my mind and to basically have no filter. And I've had a lot of things lately that have been weighing on my chest that I would like to talk about. Let's be honest, right? It's time that I face some of these controversies head on. It's time to be a man. And well, this is the story on, why and how it came to be that I deleted my old Discord. Let's talk for a moment, okay? For the longest time, I really didn't have any desire or really want to really talk about this. I mean, to be honest, right, even now, I really don't feel right. It doesn't feel like this is really a need to be addressed type of thing, but, you know, every now and then, I hear one of my disgruntled Discord mods trying to stir some drama up and get their 15 minutes of fame. And, well, I can't give them their 15 minutes because I'm on my 16th minute myself. But I wanted to address some of these issues and address why I deleted my server back in 2023. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, for a few years, I had myself a Discord server, and there were a lot of people on the server. I actually lost count of exactly how many, but we had a pretty fledgling community. And I became friends with a lot of people in this server. And, you know, it was a way to keep connected with fans. It was a good way to spend some time. And this was all at a time where, you know, it was some pretty dark times. It became a way to survive. And, well, look, a lot of those old orbiters, the Discord mods and such, they were basically my pay pigs. At least that's what the internet likes to call them. And it's true. They sat there 8 to 10 hours a day. And, you know, it felt nice to have a crew to talk to and all, but these people were not the best people to have in my corner. They weren't very motivating people per se. And they were really kind of enabling my laziness and some of my worser qualities. And I really do mean that, from things like, you know, banning people from my live chats to banning people from my whole server and really becoming a nuisance on the whole creative process of everything. And when I say they enabled my laziness and some of the more worser things that I was going through, they would literally buy me DoorDash anytime I'd want it. You know, even if it was just the day after already having some. They would donate to every one of my streams, even the ones that had nothing going on and were just boring. You know, it's good and nice they help me financially, but doing that, they enabled the behavior more and more instead of trying to encourage me to change for the better. Well, I mean, I'm going to put it bluntly. You know, one of my mods decided to get me a computer for my birthday because at the time, I was streaming from a computer that had the quality of a potato. After Fish Tank Season 1, a lot of things made, you know, huge changes, right? I started getting into better shape. I started having a reason to get out of bed. I had more of a purpose. And, you know, while I had distanced myself from this server, started spending like 90% less time there, things started going weird. At a time where I should have been excited every day to wake up because I was, you know, getting on Fish Tank, and freaking Sam Hyde was bringing me out several times a week to work out with him to help kickstart my weight loss. It was crazy. As I said, I had a bunch of, you know, new gigs coming up, and I didn't have time to spend on Discord and waste on the computer. And while I had, you know, distanced myself, one thing became very blatantly clear, and that's 90% of these mods, or these fans, as they'd say, they were actually pretty fucking unhinged. They definitely did not have my best interest at heart. You know, it turns out, you know, in hindsight, they were one of the main things that were kind of holding me back from fully succeeding. At least at the time, right? At least at the time, they were fully holding me back from succeeding. I had a lot of people telling me that it was totally okay to eat DoorDash 3 times a day. That's true, by the way. Encouraging that type of behavior, but they were buying it for me. And a lot of the time, right, I didn't even have to cook or even leave my computer. I just said I was hungry, and it was there. I mean, seriously, back then, we could be expected to get Little Caesars sometimes twice a day, 2 liters included. And don't get me started on the energy drinks, especially Venom, because I'm still struggling with that stuff today. So yeah, of course, I want to address this strange situation with my Discord, but also kind of apologize to the real Airsoftfatty fans. You guys have been there since day fucking one. Let's talk about, the fans that actually love my content. I want to apologize to you guys because, well, you're who made me who I am today. And I let you guys down for a while. And, for several years, I was being an idiot. And it sucks. Because, truth is, I really did get stuck. There was like a 2 to 4 year chunk where, really didn't do anything productive. No real content got put out there. The streams were just either me sitting there bitching and eating, or me playing a game, not being interesting, and just eating. And I was stoned out my fucking mind. That's something I have to admit. I was stoned out of my fucking mind every fucking day back then. It was as if I was trying to escape reality. These mods, half the time, they were to people giving my personal information out to the trolls. And that's not even a joke. There's been a lot of times where I've had private conversations, and somehow shit gets talked about. They've literally been giving these trolls shit for a long time, and they've been clipping some of my worst moments and uploading them to YouTube. To this day, there's only a couple of mods that I still speak with, and those mods are pretty good people, actually. Not like the ones that I've cut out of my life, because I'm going to tell you right now, the people I had back then in my corner, it was nice because, well, when I needed the money and gratification, they were there. But they just wanted to be close to someone with a huge following. And, like I said, truth is, I got stuck. There was like a 2 to 4 year point in my life where the content dried up completely. And I mean it. I wasn't putting anything out that was productive or meaningful. The Star Wars content completely dried up. No Airsoft reviews. And, the thing is, right, I had a roommate situation. Well, more like roommate landlord situation. That, it was almost as bad as the Josh times, okay? That's a story for another video. This is the time that I had those kind of mods in my life. I thought it was a close friend group, but I think it's very clear. In reality, it was some really strange parasocial relationship where we really didn't even know each other that well. It was just, we knew each other, but we didn't really know each other. The second I got off the PC, the very second I stepped away, I started enjoying life, got back into enjoying fresh air, into a brand new environment and everything. Let me tell you, my entire life, it became a lot better. I started surrounding myself with better people. And, the video games and Discord, it's fun. But it wasn't doing anything to further my career or to better myself. And I today, right? Today, I still play games, but only after I get my shit done. And of course, I still enjoy cannabis, but after I get my shit done. Anyhow, after a few months of barely interacting with these guys and barely associating with them, it was clear that most of these guys are pretty unhinged. One of them ended up hitting me up. It's kind of random because it had been a few days since I had been even around, stealing my own stuff. I just finished up getting my house built. When he hit me up, well, let me clarify, right? This is one of those pay pigs. This is one of those bad influences, okay? And, when they hit me up, at the time I didn't know what they wanted. But he had done so much for me at that point, got me the PC, was helping me out. And even though it was enabling some bad behavior, I still felt like I owed the guy a conversation. I kind of wish I didn't. Because as soon as I got in the call, he was acting completely manic, very strangely, and he started talking about hurting his family. And I'm not like kidding you either. This guy went into extreme detail about hurting his ex-wife and her family as well as possibly even his own kid. I actually have evidence of this, and we're gonna play a clip for you because he already has a history of violence against his ex-wife. And I felt really uneasy, and I hope it's not too graphic for the audience. Fair warning, though it does not feature actual violence, it does talk about heavy, real world implications of violence. And I do suggest that if you are sensitive to that information, you step away for a moment.
That's why I haven't told you shit. Because I haven't wanted to bring anybody down. I don't want anybody to know. I've only told you and Zaz this, and that's it. There's nothing I can do.
You gotta look at the situation fully, dude, before you make a decision like this, alright? Yes, you're facing time, and yes, you feel like this is an action. I'm just...
Dude, even if I go to jail, I'll never see my daughter again. After this second restraining order on Monday, I have 0 possession of my daughter. I cannot see my daughter ever.
And so you
I'll
think...
lose everything.
So you think killing your wife and then yourself is going to be the route to take?
Yes, because my parents will be able to take care of my daughter. I don't want my daughter to have to go through that.
What are you gonna do if people are there?
If people are there?
Yeah, like let's say her mother's there and sees you.
Yeah, I'm taking care of her and her mom.
I just want to ask, so I'll keep an eye out on the news. How do I know it's you when I see it in the news? Because I want him to take a rip.
If something happens, my dad will be on Discord the day after. My dad has all my passwords, all my emails, everything. He's got your information, everybody.
Damn. Just... Are you really sure you're okay depriving her of both her mother and father like this?
Yes.
Even though she might grow up to hate you.
Yes.
Because you took her mother from her and then took her father.
Yes.
And you think the only way to secure that is through killing her?
Yep. It's the only way.
So, as you can imagine, after spending all this time away doing some changing, I felt quite disturbed listening to this. So, after this freak out, it had me downright scared shitless, okay? As soon as I got off the call, I reached out to a friend of mine, and I don't know, maybe an hour and a half later, I ended up deleting my whole server. I just had to walk away from that unhinged lot. I had created that years ago, back when there were actual fans in there, and I do miss interaction with the real fans. There were people that I wanted to collab with, and people that I would have loved to share my last 2 years of my life with. But I had to delete it. I had to. I had to let that part of me go. Because if I hadn't given up the free DoorDash, free handouts basically, I wouldn't have learned to work harder for what I have. To make good videos. To make actual money. And actually work for it. Maybe it was the first time ever that I've really pushed myself and worked just to get sponsorships and to try and keep those sponsorships and, just to work hard so I don't fuck it all up and just to get to where I am today. And don't think we're out of the mud yet. I am still grinding and clawing and digging my way out of this mud. The thing is, right, to dig out of this mud, I don't need my ego fluffed. I need my pillow stuffed. I love my fans. I really do. You guys are some of the most amazing things to have ever happened in my life. You have given a man an opportunity to enjoy a life that he would have never had otherwise. And I truly appreciate that every day. But these people were not regular fans. These were the kind of guys that would literally give you their whole paycheck just to sit there and watch you sit there, not even doing anything crazy, just to cater to you, and they'll just eat ramen for a month. That's not living. That's not living at all. So for the sake of my fans, for the sake of my friends and family, and for the sake of myself, I think I'm going to continue on this path of living because it feels pretty good.